The hottest area right now really remains the Pokrovsk direction, and to discuss the situation there, we're speaking with Vladislav, callsign Haduka, an operator from the 428th Separate Battalion of Unmanned Systems, Tini, Shadow. Mr. Vladislav, welcome.
Thank you, and I wish good health to you and everyone in the studio.
We have on screen the details of the boys and girls from the 428th Battalion. I urgently need a pickup truck. I emphasize once again, this is the most difficult section of the front. Pokrovsk, any amount from 5 to 10 hryvnias will be very helpful, so please join us. Mr. Vladislav, please tell us about the operational situation in the area of responsibility of your battalion.
In fact, in the Pokrovsk direction, our crews are working effectively. The crews of drone operators from the 428th Separate Battalion of Unmanned Systems, Shadow. The guys, using kamikaze FPV drones and heavy bombers, are inflicting losses on the enemy. Most of the enemy's losses are among their infantry. The situation is difficult but under control. So our main task, first and foremost, is to prevent the enemy from entering the city itself, or at the very least to inflict maximum losses on enemy infantry or on the means the enemy uses to deliver infantry to the city as they approach. As many as possible losses, and accordingly to destroy everything that moves from that direction. And
what do your soldiers see at the entrances to Pokrovsk? Has the enemy's infiltration tactics into the city changed, and how successful are you at stopping them?
In reality, the enemy continues to use the tactic of 1,000 cuts, just as before. That is, they move in small infantry groups or small groups on motor vehicles, on quad bikes, or even on electric scooters. In other words, the enemy is currently using heavy armored vehicles very rarely. Instead of using heavily armored vehicles, they use either purely infantry groups or, after all, groups on motorcycles or quad bikes in order to either be able to conceal themselves in the kill zone or to cross the kill zone as quickly as possible. And precisely what our crews are seeing, we are trying to destroy the enemy as much as possible on the approaches. Because we understand that once the enemy has already reached the city, they can set up defenses there, fortify themselves, and it will be much harder to drive them out.
Once again, about the fundraiser. There is a QR code on your screens now. Join in. You are raising funds for a pickup truck that will transport crews to combat missions in the Pokrovsk direction. Crews to combat missions in the Pokrovsk direction. Please tell us, what does it mean to have reliable transport in the Pokrovsk direction?
First and foremost, it means life. It's important to understand that having transport allows us, our crews, to deliver drones, ammunition, and everything necessary in a timely manner to destroy the enemy. God forbid if something happens to evacuate our wounded. Not only ours, but also those of neighboring units. It's not like we only evacuate or supply our own people. No, the pickups on the front line often operate in the interests of neighboring units as well. So, if there's a chance to pick up, God forbid, a wounded guy and evacuate him, this pickup will also serve the interests of neighboring units. Without logistics, war is impossible, and unfortunately pickups are lost. Unfortunately, the vehicles are burned by the enemy, and we are forced to keep raising more money for new pickups. But that's life on the front line. A wounded soldier's life depends on how quickly we can evacuate him. How quickly and efficiently we can deliver ammunition to our guys determines how effectively we can stop the enemy. And the lives of our infantry depend on this. An enemy stopped by our crews as they approach our positions means they won't be able to fire at our troops or inflict losses on our infantry. That's why it's so important. Equipment on the front line is extremely important.
So what exactly does an FPV drone crew do on the front line? Please tell us, what does your mission look like from start to finish?
Well, first of all, the crew needs to be brought to the position. Then the guys quickly unload all the necessary equipment and dive into cover. Accordingly, if it's a rotation, the previous crew is already quickly prepared and ready to load up, and they get in. The transport leaves, and then the guys start setting up the equipment. They test it, check if everything arrived in good condition, and so on. After that, they set up the equipment depending on what the guys are working with. If it's FPV drones, then the FPV drones are prepared accordingly. The guys usually have several FPV drones equipped with different types of ammunition, which are used at different times of day or night. And if these are heavy bombers, then the same preparation of ammunition is done for the heavy bomber flights. After that, the guys report their readiness, saying they are ready to carry out combat missions. A priority target is determined, and the command to take off is given. The guys launch the appropriate equipment, plan their route to the zone, to the grid square, where they are supposed to strike the target. They coordinate with the duty operations officer to confirm the target's location, whether it has moved, disappeared, or if further clarification is needed. Then the target is located, a fire strike is carried out, and accordingly the guys wait for the next target. And basically this is almost round-the-clock work for the operators, not just ours, but everyone on the front line.
Thank you for sharing this story. My editor is telling me that we've managed to raise 80,000 so far, and there are literally just a few seconds left. We were talking about the situation in the Pokrovsk direction with Vladislav, whose call sign is with the call sign Haduka, operator of the 428th Separate Battalion of Unmanned Systems, Tim. Vladislav, thank you for joining us.
The enemy has advanced on the front near 2 villages in the direction of Kostiantinivka and near 1 settlement towards Mirnorad and Pokrovsk. The report by analysts from the Deep State portal mentions Bilahora, Pleshchivka and Kozatske. The most intense situation remains in Pokrovsk, where street fighting is ongoing, and near Mirnohrad, which the occupiers are trying to encircle. Commanders from the front report that the situation has somewhat improved for Ukrainian assault troops. In Pokrovsk, they are managing to clear buildings of the enemy. Meanwhile, the enemy is now using this infiltration tactic, seeping into populated areas and territories on other fronts as well, particularly in the Zaporizhzhia region, where the Russians are trying to penetrate our rear through the former Kakhovka reservoir. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine has calculated that there were 180 clashes on the front line over the past day, with Russian losses amounting to 1,190 personnel. 20 artillery systems, 3 multiple rocket launchers, 1 air defense system, and a helicopter were also destroyed. According to various sources in Ukraine, there are currently over 100,000 cases of amputations. The vast majority of people who have lost limbs suffer from phantom pain. This pain does not go away on its own, and there is no 100% effective medical treatment for it. And now, Ukrainian IT specialists have found a solution that is already helping to relieve it. Why should rehabilitation specialists across the country open offices with virtual reality? I investigated this myself, and tomorrow I'll tell you all about it exclusively on TSN Week. Annoying.
Like a toothache.
Burning.
I feel my legs, I feel my knees, I feel my foot.
Unbearable.
Even painkillers used to help.
Phantom pain in limbs that are no longer there. After the nerves are cut, they try to regenerate, to recover. You can't get rid of this pain with just pills. Physical therapy alone won't be able to tame it. But in Ukraine, where the war continues and the number of people with amputated limbs grows every day, they've come up with a way to help people see their lost or new limb in virtual space.
A sensor draws in the missing limb, whether it's an arm or a leg. Signals from the brain are adjusted and the phantom pain subsides.
How did Ukrainian IT specialists find a cure for phantom limb syndrome after amputations?
The biggest challenge was an engineering one.
And why should VR specialists work alongside rehabilitation therapists in military hospitals? Codes Against Pain. Watch tomorrow at 8 o'clock p.m. only on TSN Week with Ala Mazur. And today is Air Assault Forces Day. Ukrainian hackers decided to congratulate our soldiers on this holiday in their own way. They took over the broadcast of a Russian TV channel on the temporarily occupied peninsula, Crim 24. On the screens, interrupting some propaganda segment, a greeting to our Air Assault Forces soldiers appeared. In it, there was a warning for people in Crimea to get ready, because the Air Assault Forces are near. The Day of the Air Assault Forces was first celebrated on November 8th, on the day of Archangel Michael, the patron of warriors. Previously, the date was different, but with the switch to the new calendar, it was changed. So, we express our gratitude to our assault troops, who are the first to carry out the most difficult tasks on the most dangerous front lines. And you can see right now how the occupiers reacted to the hacker greeting.
Honey, I'm watching TV. I'm so curious.
Why is this happening? Can you explain what is causing this situation? Could you please help me understand why this is happening right now?